All he had to do was say, listen, I pulled up, saw the white Cadillac, I looked right across, I saw KEEFE D dead in the eye. It was KEEFE D and his crew, and Tupac's case would have been solved in 24 hours.
In the world of hip-hop, few names carry as much weight and controversy as Suge Knight. The former CEO of Death Row Records, Knight has been at the center of numerous scandals and legal troubles throughout his career. But perhaps one of the most shocking allegations against him is his potential involvement in the murder of iconic rapper Tupac Shakur. What did KEEFE D have to say about Suge Knight's involvement or even organizing Tupac's murder, the night of the shooting? Tupac Shakur, also known as Tupac, was a legendary rapper and actor who rose to fame in the 1990s. His music and powerful lyrics resonated with millions around the world, making him a cultural icon. But on the night of September 7, 1996, Tupac's life was tragically cut short in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. For over 2 decades, the murder of Tupac Shakur has remained unsolved, leaving his family, friends, and fans searching for answers. But one man, Greg Kading, a retired LAPD detective, has dedicated years of his life to investigating this case and uncovering the truth. He said he was the lead detective of an interagency task force launched in 2006 to investigate the murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. Through his extensive research and interviews, he developed a theory that implicates Suge Knight in the murder of Tupac. Kading's theory, outlined in his book Murder Rap: The Untold Story of the Biggie Smalls and Tupac Shakur Murder Investigations, suggests that Tupac was killed by Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, a member of the Southside Compton Crips. Anderson allegedly received a murder weapon from his uncle, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who was also a member of the gang. Davis is the only remaining suspect who is still alive and was recently charged with Tupac's murder, marking a major breakthrough in the case. But Kading believes that Suge Knight played a crucial role in the murder going unsolved for so long.
Of course, we know that Suge was behind Biggie's murder, so now your witness is going to be also a murderer who is trying to exonerate another murderer. One person responsible for this taking 27 years to solve. It's Suge Knight.
According to Kading's investigation, Suge Knight was in the car with Tupac when the fatal shots were fired.
Suge Knight could have had this thing solved in 24 hours. All he had to do when Las Vegas police summoned him for an interview, which he tried to avoid on multiple occasions, and then when he did go in, he said he didn't know anything.
Knight had a clear view of the shooter and could have provided valuable information to law enforcement.
All he had to do was say, listen, I pulled up, saw the white Cadillac, I looked right across, I saw KEEFE D dead in the eye. It was KEEFE D and his crew, and Tupac's case would have been solved in 24 hours.
Let's quickly uncover the events that unfolded on the night of the shooting that claimed the life of Tupac. On the evening of September 7, 1996, Tupac Shakur, the charismatic rap sensation, and Suge Knight, the head of Death Row Records, headed to the vibrant city of Las Vegas. The duo, accompanied by Tupac's fiancée, Kidada Jones, and a close-knit entourage of cousins and friends, had one purpose in mind: to witness the epic showdown between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon for the heavyweight title. As the clock struck 8:30 p.m., Tupac and Suge took their coveted front row seats at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, eagerly anticipating the clash of titans. After the long fight and Tyson's victory, at approximately 8:50 p.m., a confrontation erupted between Tupac's entourage and a rival group that included Dwayne "Keffy D" Davis and his nephew Orlando Baby Lane Anderson. Davis and Anderson were affiliated with the Southside Compton Crips, a notorious gang that rivaled Suge Knight's blood-affiliated Mob Peru. Surveillance footage captured the intense altercation, revealing Tupac and Suge exchanging blows with Anderson near a bank of elevators. The tension between the two groups had been simmering for some time, and this clash was the culmination of their bitter rivalry. As the clock neared 9 p.m., Tupac, Suge, and their entourage left the MGM Grand, their minds undoubtedly filled with thoughts of retaliation and the events that would unfold later that night. After leaving the MGM Grand, Tupac, Suge Knight, and their entourage had their sights set on the after-party at Club 662, owned by Suge himself. But before they could reach their destination, a series of events would unfold, forever changing the course of the night. You also have to understand that within the environment of a gang, it's Orlando Anderson's job to pull the trigger, not only because he's already a well-known shooter and he's got a reputation, but it's because he's the one that got his ass kicked. Between 9 p.m. and 11 p.m., the exact timeline of Tupac's night becomes somewhat hazy. However, it is known that they made a stop at the nearby Luxor Hotel and Casino, where Kidada Jones was staying. The entourage then proceeded to a Las Vegas house owned by Suge Knight, where plans for for the after-party were likely discussed. Meanwhile, Dwayne "KEEFE" D. Davis, one of the key figures in the night's events, was busy making his own preparations. Davis allegedly spent this time obtaining a gun, fueling the flames of retaliation for the earlier casino fight. As the night progressed, tensions continued to simmer beneath the surface. The stage was set for a fateful encounter that would forever alter the course of history. At around 11 p.m., Tupac found himself riding in the passenger seat of a sleek black BMW driven by Suge Knight. Little did they know that this would be their final ride together. As they cruised near the bustling Las Vegas Strip, fate lurked just around the corner. The BMW caught the attention of the police, who pulled them over for playing music too loudly and not properly displaying license plates. However, what could have been a routine traffic stop took an unexpected turn. Tupac and Suge engaged in lighthearted banter with the officers, diffusing the tension. The license plates, which had been missing, were discovered in the trunk, and miraculously, they managed to avoid receiving a ticket. Resuming their journey, the BMW paused at a stoplight at the intersection of Flamingo Road and Koval Lane, just a block away from the Strip. It was at this moment that the night took a sinister twist. Malcolm Greenidge, a lifelong friend of Tupac who was traveling with him and riding in a car behind the BMW, later testified before a grand jury. He recounted the events that unfolded at the stoplight, forever etching them into the annals of history. Unbeknownst to Tupac and his entourage, a white Cadillac quietly pulled up alongside their vehicle. Dwayne "KEEFE" D. Davis, who had obtained the gun earlier, was allegedly seated in the passenger seat. The stage was set for a tragic turn of events. As the women drove away, another car pulled up beside Tupac and Suge's BMW. An arm emerged from the back window and a hail of gunfire erupted, shattering the night's tranquility. The shooter unleashed more than a dozen rounds, with 4 bullets finding their mark on Tupac's body, 2 of them striking his chest. Suge Knight, though grazed by a bullet fragment, miraculously escaped with minor injuries. Chaos ensued as the assailants vanished into the darkness, leaving Tupac fighting for his life. Police and paramedics arrived at the scene, rushing him to University Medical Center. In the days that followed, Tupac underwent surgery, but his injuries proved fatal. On September 13, 1996, the world mourned the loss of a true icon as Tupac Shakur passed away at the age of 25. Davis indicted for the murder of Tupac. The investigation into Tupac's murder has been ongoing, with many questions still unanswered. The arrest of Dwayne "KEEFE" D. Davis, one of the last living witnesses, brought a glimmer of hope for justice. However, the full truth may never be known. However, in 2014, Chris Carroll, a retired sergeant, granted an interview to speak about his experience and the interaction he had with Tupac in his final moments. Carroll was the first officer to arrive at the scene of Tupac's drive-by murder. In his interview with Vegas 7 magazine, he said after retiring from the police force, Carroll revealed that he had attempted to obtain a dying declaration from Tupac, hoping to gather information about a potential suspect. However, the rapper initially proved to be uncooperative, struggling to speak and resisting Carroll's efforts. But then, in a sudden and unexpected turn of events, Carroll witnessed a remarkable transformation in Tupac's demeanor. In the snap of a finger, Tupac went from fighting and resisting to a state of peace and acceptance. Carroll described it as if Tupac had transitioned from struggling to an "I can't do it" mindset. During this profound moment, Tupac locked eyes with Carroll, and Carroll saw a glimmer of hope that he might finally receive some cooperation. Tupac took a breath, preparing to speak, and Carroll believed he was on the verge of obtaining valuable information. However, the words that came out of Tupac's mouth left Carroll stunned and shocked. In a defiant and chilling manner, Tupac simply uttered, "You." It was a moment that shattered any expectations Carroll had of receiving cooperation and left him with more questions than answers. Following those words, Tupac began gurgling and slipping out of consciousness, leaving Carroll with a haunting and unforgettable image of the rapper's final moments. Despite his efforts, Carroll was unable to extract any meaningful information from Tupac before he succumbed to his injuries. This leaves a massive question. Obviously, Tupac saw who shot at him that night. Why didn't he reveal the identity of this person to the police? As the years went by, the investigation into Tupac's murder seemed to hit a dead end. The case grew cold, leaving fans and investigators alike desperate for answers. But little did they know that a breakthrough was just around the corner, waiting to be unveiled in the most unexpected way. Fast forward to 2018, when the BET network aired a jaw-dropping interview that would change everything.
KEEFE D and his entourage get into a white Cadillac. Along with KEEFE D, the driver is a guy named Terrence Brown. They call him Bubble Up. Behind the driver is DeAndre Smith. He's in the left rear passenger seat. And KEEFE D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, he's sitting behind the right front passenger seat. All Southside Crips.
KEEFE D. Davis, a figure previously linked to the case, stepped into the spotlight, ready to reveal shocking details about the night of Tupac's murder.
All the chicks was like, Tupac, Tupac, and he was like a celebrity, like he was in the parade. he wouldn't even been out the window, we would have never seen him. My partner busted you. When we pulled up, I was in the front seat. Happened to see my friend, Suge.
Suge looks over, he sees you.
Yeah.
But it was Davis's revelation about the shots coming from the back seat that sent shockwaves through the industry. The interviewer pressed him for the identity of the shooter, but Davis, bound by the code of the streets, refused to divulge that information.
You said the shots came from the back. Big Dre, Orlando. Who shot Tupac?
To keep it for the code of the streets. It just came from the backseat, bro.
Davis's admission in the BET interview sent shockwaves through the music industry and caught the attention of the Las Vegas police. Finally, there was a glimmer of hope that the truth behind Tupac's murder would be unveiled. The Las Vegas police, spurred by Davis's revelations, decided to reopen the case, determined to bring justice to one of the most influential figures in hip-hop history. The interview provided a crucial breakthrough, shedding light on the conspiracy surrounding Tupac's death and implicating Davis's nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, as one of the individuals in the back seat of the Cadillac where the fatal shots were fired. With the stage set and the investigation gaining new momentum, the world held its breath, eager to uncover the truth that had eluded them for over 2 decades. The 2018 BET interview with Keefe D. Davis was just the beginning of a roller coaster ride that would expose the dark underbelly of the music industry and the code of silence that had kept the secrets of Tupac's murder hidden for far too long. Davis's shocking admissions and implicating statements prompted the Las Vegas police to take a fresh look at the evidence, breathing new life into a case that had remained stagnant for over 2 decades. Greg Kading had previously interviewed Davis during the Los Angeles police investigations into the murders of Tupac and Biggie Smalls. He believed that Davis's public descriptions of his role in the killing, including his 2019 tell-all memoir, Compton Street Legend, provided Las Vegas authorities with the necessary ammunition to move forward with the case. Davis's interview and subsequent revelations placed him squarely in the middle of the conspiracy surrounding Tupac's murder. According to Kading, Davis had acquired the gun used in the shooting, handed it to the shooter, and was present in the vehicle when they located and targeted both Tupac and Suge Knight. With Davis being the last living person among the 4 individuals present in the vehicle during the shooting, the investigation gained new momentum. His alleged connection to Orlando Anderson, the suspected shooter, further deepens the intrigue surrounding the case. Anderson, who vehemently denied any involvement in Tupac's murder before his death in a gang-related shooting in 1998, has long been a subject of speculation and suspicion. This revelation raises questions about the motive behind the shooting and the individuals involved. Was it a targeted attack? Was it related to the ongoing feud between East Coast and West Coast rap scenes? These are crucial aspects that investigators have been tirelessly working to uncover. Davis, a prominent figure in the Southside Compton Crips gang, has a notorious reputation as a shot caller within the gang's hierarchy. His influence and involvement in criminal activities have made him a central figure in the investigation into Tupac's murder. According to Davis's own account in his memoir, he claims to be one of only 2 living witnesses to the shooting, the other being Suge Knight, who was driving the car in which Tupac was a passenger. Davis alleges that he was in the front seat of the vehicle that pulled up alongside Tupac's car when shots were fired from the back seat. His alleged connection to Orlando Anderson, the suspected shooter, further deepens the intrigue surrounding the case. Anderson, who vehemently denied any involvement in Tupac's murder before his death in a gang-related shooting in 1998, has long been a subject of speculation and suspicion. The recent raid on Davis's home in Henderson, Nevada has added a new layer of complexity to the story. Property records reveal that the target of the search was a residence belonging to Paula Clemens, who is married to Davis. Authorities executed the raid in search of crucial evidence related to Tupac's murder, including notes, writings, ledgers, and other documents concerning television shows, documentaries, YouTube episodes, book manuscripts, and movies pertaining to the case. Police seized multiple computers, a cell phone, a hard drive, and a Vibe magazine featuring Shakur. They also discovered several .40 caliber bullets, which could potentially be linked to the weapon used in the shooting. Additionally, they found 2 tubs containing photographs and a copy of Davis's memoir, Compton Street Legend. The memoir itself serves as a significant piece of evidence, as Davis openly admitted his involvement in the shooting and provided details that only someone present during the incident would know. His decision to break his silence in 2010 during a closed-door meeting with federal and local authorities suggests suggests that he may have been seeking leniency in his own legal troubles at the time. The raid on Davis's home has thrust the investigation back into the public eye, reigniting hope for justice in Tupac's murder. Las Vegas Lieutenant Jason Johansson, speaking at a news conference, described Davis as the shot caller who orchestrated the plan that led to Tupac's untimely demise. Davis's alleged involvement and his connection to the Southside Compton Crips gang have captivated the public's attention as the search for truth and justice in Tupac's murder continues. KEEFE D has been arrested and is now facing 1 count of murder with the use of a deadly weapon with a gang enhancement. It's important to note that Davis's alleged involvement does not absolve others who may have played a role in the conspiracy. The investigation will undoubtedly continue to uncover the full extent of the plot and shed light on any other individuals who may have been involved. Suge Knight reopens the murder case. Now, shortly after KEEFE D's arrest, Suge Knight opened up about his own narrative about the murder case, casting another shadow of mystery on the case. Instead of pointing fingers at KEEFE D, he pointed fingers at Snoop Dogg. He said, "As far as the Puffy situation, I really gotta have a real conversation with Snoop. I knew that Pac did everything right by him by putting him on All Eyes on Me, speaking about him and being real with him, and if it's true what they say, face to face, it's gonna be a lot of explaining to do." In a recent episode of his podcast Collect Call, Knight demanded answers from Snoop Dogg, his former artist and the current owner of Death Row Records. Knight, who was in the car with Tupac on the night of his fatal shooting in Las Vegas, raised questions about Snoop's role in the tragic event. Knight's demand for a face-to-face conversation with Snoop Dogg suggests that he believes there is more to the story than meets the eye. He wants to confront his ex-signee and get to the bottom of the allegations surrounding Tupac's murder. Knight also made other startling claims, including one about Snoop allegedly warning Thaw Dog Pound rapper Daz Dillinger not to accompany the Death Row crew to Vegas on the night of September 7, 1996. According to Knight, Snoop had a premonition that something terrible would happen. These allegations raise suspicions about Snoop's prior knowledge of the events that unfolded that fateful night. However, according to an interview that Warren G made on the Drink Champs podcast, he claimed that he may have inadvertently saved Snoop Dogg's life on the night of Tupac's murder. He said, "We were in Los Angeles, and we heard about the shooting through a Nextel radio. We were getting a play-by-play." Warren G's remarks shed new light on the events surrounding Tupac's shooting.
I'm a bachelor. What's up, Snoop? Come over.
Right.
You know, I'm just over here watching the fight. I'm gonna invite a gang of people over. We're gonna barbecue. He was like, that. I'm going to Vegas with Tupac and them. They going out to Vegas for the fight. So I was like, damn, you don't never kick it with me.
According to him, both he and Snoop Dogg were in Los Angeles when they learned the incident that happened to Tupac happened.
I heard a horn, bing, 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 honking in front of my house. And Snoop was outside in a white Rolls Royce. He pulled up. He surprised me. He came and hung with me, hung out. He let me drive that. I was like, damn. Even though I had a 600, but he let me drive that Bentley. It wasn't a Bentley, it was a Rolls Royce.
He claimed that they heard about the shooting over Snoop Dogg's Nextel radio.
And he had the Nextel back then. Remember the?
Yeah.
He had the could go that whatever it was hitting him all the way from what was going on from Vegas. And then he started getting calls and they was telling him that Tupac got shot and da-da-da-da-da.
This raises questions about how they had access to such information if they weren't present at the scene.
Only way you have a radio if you was at the fight with us and you had a security detail. Now, not having a security detail, what are you doing with the radio? 2, we always go to the fight together. We always go to the club together.
Suge Knight questions the validity of Warren G and Snoop Dogg's claims. He suggests that if they didn't have a security detail and weren't present at the fight, why would they have a radio with a play-by-play of the events?
And he said, "You gonna be at the fight?" and all that type of shit. So then all of a sudden, Warren says on this thing where they listen to the radio and they hear the gunshots. And basically somebody told them we got them or they got shot or all this. So how would you know that? Why would you have a play-by-play on the radio?
Suge Knight dropped another bombshell, claiming that Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger collaborated on a song with one of the individuals accused of being involved in Tupac's murder, DeAndre Smith. This shocking revelation suggests a possible connection between Snoop and the individuals responsible for the untimely death of the rap icon. Knight also asserts that Snoop Dogg never visited Tupac in the hospital after the shooting, despite the Dogfather claiming otherwise. This discrepancy raises questions about Snoop's narrative of being with Tupac in the hospital before he passed.
So we feeling like it's gonna be all right until we go to the hospital and see that it ain't all right. He got tubes in him and it's like When I walked in, I could just feel like he wasn't even there. And I fainted.
In a previous interview, Snoop Dogg described his visit to Tupac in the hospital, stating that he could sense Tupac's absence and even fainted during the encounter. However, Knight's claim contradicts Snoop's account, adding another layer of confusion to the narrative. The murder of Tupac Shakur remains a tragic and unresolved chapter in the history of hip-hop. The claims made by Suge Knight regarding Snoop Dogg's involvement have added a new layer of intrigue to the story. As the investigation continues, we can only hope that justice will be served and the truth will finally come to light. If you love this content, click on one of the cards on the screen to see more videos like this.